What did you learn about parenting? This was something that I'd seen previously in a discussion, and then to have it brought up in the data again was so interesting.
Yeah, so the overall effects of parents are like less than everybody thinks. And the studies for that are twins and adoptees. So if you like see, identical twins adopted by different parents, they turn out shockingly similar. And then, people adopted to the same parents end up not that similar at all. But then, parents in general matter very, very little. But there is evidence that the neighborhood you live in matters a lot. Basically, they've looked at tax records and compared, and people who grow up in certain neighborhoods just do way better. And they've done all this clever math to prove that it's really causally certain neighborhoods are making them better. And the big predictor of that, interestingly, is the adults in that neighborhood. So like adults that fill out a lot of census forms. If you like live on a block with adults that fill out a lot of census forms, your kid's way more likely to have good outcomes. And you're kind of like, what the hell is like, that's the randomest thing in the world. It's basically like good, responsible adults. Similarly, if girls move to neighborhoods with lots of female scientists, they're more likely to become scientists themselves. So like one of the lessons I took from the data is you can outsource parenting a little bit. Like when you tell your kids to do something, they're just going to probably rebel against you because, a lot of people think their parents are like the least cool people on the planet. But your friends, they're going to think they're pretty cool, probably. Like if I think of my parents' friends, all of them, like, yeah, those are, there are periods where I thought my dad was pathetic and the biggest loser and whatever. But his friends, I'm always like, yeah, they're awesome. So basically, you just gotta pick friends that you want your kids to turn out to be like and put them in front of your kids. And that you may be shocked by how much of an impact these people are having on your kids.
It's so interesting, the fact that the people that you live next door to are potentially going to have a bigger impact on your children than you do.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's wild.
You don't really...
Not even their kids, right? Not even that. It's not. Don't worry about. Well, exactly. Such and such's son he's a bit of a naughty boy and he doesn't really listen in class. And it's like, yeah, but his dad's cool as fuck and he's a millionaire. You're like, just let little Timmy go and play with him a lot.
Yeah, it reminds me of. I don't know if you saw the book. If you read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, that's exactly that. That his life was transformed by meeting this guy who he thought was way cooler than his dad.
Could it not be like cool dad, uncool dad? That might just be it.
Yeah. And then like that transformed his life. That instead of kind of this traditional narrow path that he thought he was supposed to take of getting a lot of college degrees and like working for the government, he wanted to become an entrepreneur like his rich dad, his friend's dad. So I didn't think about that.
Well, what about if his dad had been the rich dad and his friend's dad had been the poor dad? Robert would have probably grown up to be poor because he would have listened to the wrong person.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you can't exaggerate the extent of this. Some parents definitely do have big impacts on their kids, and sometimes kids do think their parents are really cool. But I think, that I think the parents are polarizing figures for kids, whereas like the neighbors tend to be universally kind of cool. Like now, even looking back on it, like the parents in my neighborhood who I know weren't cool, like when I was a kid, I thought they were really cool and cooler than my dad. Like, like one guy, he was just such a show off. He wasn't even a good basketball player, but he just like constantly be dribbling the ball between his legs and doing like weird moves. And I'm like, now looking back on it, I'm like, that guy was pathetic, like trying to impress 10-year-olds with his terrible basketball moves. But at the time, I'm like, this guy's amazing. Maybe that's why I wanted to be a basketball player, because I grew up near this guy.
This lame basketball guy. What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.